Riots, protesting, and the attempted creation of the Black House Autonomous Zone outside of the White House. The country today is divided, and this was the plan. It's been in the works for years, the idea that you can topple the greatest country in the world, but to topple a country like the United States of America, you must be planning this for decades. Why wouldn't that come from the party that lost the Civil War? The party that wanted to own people because they viewed them as less than human. Do you think that the Democrats are over losing to the North? They have rewritten history for years. It's not Republicans in our schools. It's not Republicans running the unions, and it's not Republicans writing the curriculum for our children. No, it's Democrats. And so when you say, wow, I never learned about Black Wall Street or the massacre in Tulsa or Juneteenth, which we can be angry about because the president planned a rally that day, but you never knew what it was until he did that. Why? Why didn't you know? Because you never learned in school, because Democrats don't want you to know. They don't want you to know that white people freed the slaves. White Republicans, who, get this, worked with Black Republicans. Yes, there were Black Republicans in government way back then, but you are doing such a great job of hating yourself for them. They don't want you to know that history, the true history. They fed you your white guilt slowly for years. Finally, they had Barack Obama, who was going to bring hope and change to the country and unify everyone, but he and Michelle told you how badly you treated Black people your whole lives, and you hated yourself just like they wanted. The Republican Party was labeled as the party of hate by the media arm of those who wanted power so badly, those who believed they could mentally destroy the voters and fundamentally change the United States. Then they were handed a gift in the form of a virus, and they tested you further. The perfect storm had finally arrived. How much of your life could they take from you if you were scared enough? And the answer is nearly all of it. People hid in their homes. They were forced to close their businesses, and their children were pulled out of their government-run indoctrination centers. Fear tied the hands of people across the world, and our leaders cheered at the opportunity of it all. Think of that. Who are the people you heard cheering time and time again at the opportunity? Opportunity, which included stealing your businesses and the employees you once had. They would take them and give them just a penny more than you to stay home and vote Democrat. And when you begged to open the country, you were called selfish, murderers, and elitists. Then entered George Floyd. The entire country mourned what happened to George Floyd. The parties were united. This was a tragedy, but opportunity awaits. That final spoonful of white guilt was warmed and ready for the serving, and young white women were especially begging for their last dose, changing their profile pictures, admonishing anyone who asked, "Does my life matter?" rushing to tell you that your life was meaningless unless you admitted you'd kept the Black man down, begging to disband the evil police, and supporting a new country within our own. CHOP. Never mind that women would be raped and young men murdered and no hope of protection. It was all for George Floyd, and their white skin was so disgusting to them they had to apologize for all the injustice they caused by simply existing. Democrat leaders, meanwhile, they sat back in their designer suits, eating their filet with their nice béarnaise sauce, while they watched the country rip itself apart because they were getting it all back. The slaves again. This time, they'd be people of all colors, poor and broken, looking to them and begging for help, and they will gladly own you all. Look at their cities. The elite will thrive while the broken shoot each other in the streets on Father's Day weekend. They started with fear, moved on to guilt, told you men and women who protect you really hate you. And the next things they will take are your guns, your speech, and your God. Look at this tweet we have from Shaun King. He considers himself the leader of the Black Lives Movement. He says, "Yes, I think the statues of the white European they claim is Jesus should also come down. They are a form of white supremacy, always have been. In the Bible, when the family of Jesus wanted to hide and blend in, guess where they went? Egypt, not Denmark. Tear them down. Jesus is now a white supremacist. St. John's Church was vandalized, marked with BHAZ, Black House Autonomous Zone, because we owe somebody something. And where is Joe Biden? What will he say to keep the woke left happy and appease the American left? Nothing, because he's hiding. Nancy Pelosi, who's always champing at the bit to quote scripture and claims she's a Christian, she's silent today. Christians, I tell you, don't stand in silence. It does not matter what the color of the skin is of a statue depicting the Son of God, God himself as man with us. This is another test, folks. Will the woke mob consume Christians too, or will we say no? Those of us who honor the one true God are not white supremacists. In fact, Christians make up nearly 1/3 of the world's population, and those folks simply are not all white. The depictions of Jesus across the country do not and have never represented hate, but love. I implore you, do not take that final spoonful of white guilt because you simply did not do anything wrong. There are just bad people out there who want to take your rights away because you've given them opportunity.